Yo, what's up guys, I'm Yannick from the Producer School, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make music like Daft Punk. And I will show you how to turn a sample like this to this. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get straight into the video. This video is part of our collaboration with TrackClip, and TrackClip is a really useful site for producers. It's an online record store for sampling where you can sample real original released music from all decades, genres, regions and more. And if you then want to release a song with the sample, you can go back to TrackClip and get a license for like 50 bucks, which is super cheap. So essentially they offer real sample clearance, but then online and really affordable. And in this video, I'm going to search for a sample that Daft Punk could have used. So let's go into TrackClip and listen to some samples. If you want to look for samples yourself, then use our sign up link and get 15 samples for free. Daft Punk really like to sample old records from the 80s, 90s or 70s that are a bit funky and poppy. So let's go to genres and let's see, I think just pop will do, I think. Let's go for the release year of between the 90s and 60s, like this. And let's just check out some samples that we might gonna use. I'm trying to look for a instrumental funky loop. That's usually the samples that Daft Punk like to use. After some minutes looking at some of the songs that TrackClip has, I found this one, which was released in the 80s. I think this can be turned into a really cool Daft Punk style track. It sounds a little bit slow right now, but I think I'm gonna pitch it up and speed it up so it gets that nice Daft Punk groove. Let's download the sample. You can also add it to a collection, so you can save the samples that you like into a collection and see them all in a list. Okay, so I put the sample in FL Studio like this. The BPM of the original sample is 75.5, so let's set the tempo of our song to that as well. Like this. Let's fit it on the beat. Like so. You can hear that sometimes it's a little bit offbeat, and that's something that a lot of older records have. They're not perfectly timed, but we can fix it, and I will show you a trick for that. But right now let's speed up the sample by going to mode and set it to stretch. And let's go for a BPM around 123. Let's remove this. Let's see how it sounds. It's a little bit off pitch, so I'm going to pitch it up a little bit to make sure it's perfectly in key. And now just play around with the sample and make some chops in it. I'm going to be using this part. To really sample like Daft Punk, you can chop up the sample and play around with different parts of the sample. I think I'm going to leave this first part as it is right now. Maybe like chop it up here so it gets like really choppy and short. I like that. Maybe like repeat this one a few times so you get this really Daft Punk one more time style of sample. That sounds a lot like one more time actually. And let's cut it right here so we can just loop the sample. Let's see if it's on the beat. Daft Punk also used to like effects like flanger, phaser and stuff like that to spice up the samples. So that's what I'm going to do as well. Let's put it into a mixer channel. Let's start off with removing a little bit of the low frequencies because I'm going to add a bass eventually. Maybe add a little bit more high end so this gets really those nice sharp frequencies. And let's add a flanger, but just make the mix not that high, just something like this would work. I'm actually going to leave the settings for the flanger because yeah, they work, so why would I change it? Let's put on a phaser to the sample as well. And a phaser gives it that really Daft Punk kind of vibe, which was inspired by the 80s, of course. So without the effects, it sounds like this. And with the effects, it just makes the sample a little bit more unique. Rather than just the basic sample without any effects. Let's also add some kickstart for sidechaining. And just put the mix of your sidechain plugin or automation like really high, because that's something Daft Punk used to do a lot in their tracks. In One More Time you can clearly hear there's a lot of sidechain on the sample. I quickly made this drum loop, which sounds like this. It consists out of this kickform or fusion sample pack. Just a short punchy kick, then this clap. A hi-hat. Another hi-hat loop. Another hi-hat loop. And then I found this really cool loop from a crowd, which sounds like this. And together with all the drums, it sounds like this. And using those crowd loops or human loops can help to give your drops or verses a little bit more energy. And it's already getting to sound a lot like Daft Punk, which is great. Track lacks bass right now because we cut out the bass frequencies from the sample, because I wanted to create my own bass. And for that I'm going to be using this Mini Moog by Arturia, which is a nice emulation of the original synth. The bass sounds like this. And I think we can use this to create a nice bass line underneath the sample. And the bass goes something like this. I tweaked some of the notes of the bass line so it becomes a little bit more interesting. Let me just show you how it sounds right now. At the end I'm changing octaves so it gets a little bit more funky. I put some kickstart on it like this. Just to sidechain the bass with the kick. I quickly made this intro and build up, which is just the sample repeating like this. I just put a radio filter like this on the sample. Then it really sounds like it's sampled, and I really like this radio effect to use on samples. I also put a flanger on the master to make the sound even more crazy, so it goes like this. and also on the hi-hat that comes here. Then at start of the build-up, the sample is still the same, but the flanger filter goes away with this mix level. And the kickstart is also off during the build-up and intro, but in the drop it's on with this automation over here. Then there's this little clap coming as well, and some risers like these. And to give the track the typical Daft Punk vibe, I repeated the first part of the loop right here. And that's something that they did on one of their most famous tracks, which is One More Time. And yeah, this video was heavily inspired by that track. So you can definitely hear the similarities between this track and their track One More Time. And that's it for this project. I'm gonna play the end result for you guys. And that will be it for this video. A big shout out to Tracklip for working together on this sampling project. And if you want to check out Tracklip and get 15 free samples, then make sure to use the link in the description. But for now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.